Chernobyl and its wastelands. I'm going to link an article below, published recently, but it's about a study that's been done over time by Greenpeace. So if you read the whole article, it's interesting. It mentions strontium and it was a cesium. That was the cesium-based fuel mixture, I think. So it speaks about biological uptake, biological pathways, how these nuclear isotopes are taken up into a food supply. And where that food supply goes is a good question. That the food supply even knows about itself is a good question. The article does mention that there is no follow-up testing or consolidate. They don't want us to understand how this works, is my theory on the evolution of nuclear waste. So these isotopes that emit cancer-causing energy get up into the food supply, just as in this corn example. Many other foods do this, and you can find the papers on it. But in this example, it was some corn and beans, and have been tested over years. And no Geiger counters are involved in this level of testing. It simply is not a tool that's useful. It's not sensitive enough. It won't do this well unless you're a master with a good Geiger counter, period. So what this means is, after Chernobyl, decades later, these materials are still in the environment, right? And they're being taken up and accumulated in plants so that there's a high concentration of them. Those roots that span out through the soil are picking these materials up, thinking that they're good stuff. And then who eats the wheat? Tobacco likes strontium-90 very much. We still test for strontium-90 hidden in the basements and the cellars, just like we still test sea fish, seafood. On some existential level, there are Geiger counters, sensitive Geiger counters, very sensitive, in some holds of fishing vessels. You could wonder why, under what treaty and agreements these things were done, and you could find them if you wish to. So this biological uptake is an important thing to understand. Of note in this article, this is about testing of Chernobyl area foods. These grains, samples and soil samples, were taken outside the exclusion zone, which means that they're open. This is part of the story of nuclear. It's insidious. Once it's there, it's part of your life. And we should minimize that. That's the point of these conversations. But the follow-on to that, someone sent me an article saying, decrease in childhood cancer rates. No, that's not what the article said. The article said that we have improved our cancer treatments, and there are more childhood survivors of cancer. But underneath that, childhood cancer rates are increasing. Childhood cancer rates right now, from one article I read, are somewhere 10 or 11,000 children a year are diagnosed. The moment they are diagnosed and are put into these treatments and these regimens, they're some of the most expensive illnesses, diseases, effects to try and treat. So this is the fallout. This is what should be watched after the Fukushima event. This is what should have been watched closely after 3 Mile Island. This is the pathways these things take. The problem is the effects are some terms stochastic. It's a mathematical term. It's a gambling term. It's the odds of you winning and losing. And if only 1 in 10,000 is affected, you probably don't know that one. What if 5 in 10,000 have cancers? Well, apparently 10,000 in 10,000 are guaranteed to have cancers. the healthcare industry has set itself up to heal. So defund commercial and weapons nuclear activities, put it into education and healthcare, make this the strongest planet in the universe. I don't know. No, I do know. We know. We know a little bit more than what some people let on.